Hey guys, so for today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little turtle. I use Bernat blanket yarn in red, it's one of the Brights collection, and then Sienna, which is harder to find, and then Taupe, Taupe, and green. I can't remember the name of it at the time. I think it's like Forest Sage or something, but I'll put it in the description. So first we're gonna start with red. Hopefully I have enough to finish this little guy. So first things first, you're going to make your magic ring and single crochet 6 in it. And then of course pull it tight. Then we're gonna increase on the next round. Maybe, geez. Then we're going to increase in the next round after that for a total of 24 stitches. I'm also using a 7mm hook. Now we're gonna do, sorry, this yarn is just not working with me. Now we're gonna do invisible decrease round. So that's you grab the first front loop of the next 2 stitches and then single crochet. I'm going to do that all the way around. Sometimes you have to help it, which is fine. Then now we're going to single crochet 2 together, so that's just a normal decrease. We do this to give it a little extra shape. I didn't want to do another round after it. I'm all about fast makes, or I'm trying to be anyway. You should have 6 stitches by the end of this. And I am cutting a longish tail. This is the head. Oh my God, stay put. So then, if you haven't already tied off your magic ring, I always double knot it because I feel better. Anyway, so now we're gonna put the eyes in. I am using 18mm flat eyes, so these are 3D eyes and these are flat, completely different. I'm using flat ones so it doesn't disorient the face. You're gonna count rounds 1 through 3, so 1, 2, 3, and my stitch marker was right here, if that helps. And then 1, 2, 3, and then you're gonna look at it and decide if that's how you want it. So see, you're gonna have roughly 3 stitches in between. I think that's good. So then I'm gonna flip it over, and then because I'm paranoid and I don't want my safety eyes coming off, I always glue them. This is my favorite glue gun. I will add that into the description as well. It's not completely warm yet. And then I do this while they're still hot because I know it's gonna stay. Be careful though, it's easy to burn yourself. This is also part of the reason why I use the glue gun I do. It gets it really hot really quickly instead of slowly, so it doesn't stay hot for very long. See, I touched it and I was fine. With your glue gun, you might not want to do that, or if it has a low setting, put it on the low setting. So we're gonna wait for that to dry for a second. And while we do that, we're gonna make the stem, so grab your green and make a slip knot. Slip knots are our best friends. And then you're gonna chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the second chain from the hook, so not this one, but this one, you're going to slip stitch and then single crochet, and then half double crochet and slip stitch into the same stitch you did the half double crochet, and you got this pretty leaf. Now we're going to do that 3 more times. So chain 4 and then slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, single crochet, half double crochet, and slip stitch into the same stitch as the half double crochet if your hook works with you. And then, oh my gosh, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, slip stitch, And then one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4, slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and slip stitch. Now we're gonna find our yarn tail. Make sure that it's all going the right way. So see, it's making an obvious curve, but all the leaves are the same direction. And this is your yarn tail. Put your hook in the stitch the yarn tail is part of, and slip stitch. And then we're going to leave a long tail to sew it on. Fasten that off. See, and that's perfect. Set that aside. These should be done by now. We're gonna flip this back out. So now we're gonna stuff this guy. Oops. Try not to overstuff it like me. And we're gonna weave in the ends. Let's see, get a different needle so you can see it. I always get the front loops, and I just recently learned that you can grab multiple front loops before, you know, instead of just one at a time, and it is a game changer, y'all. Much faster. Let's see. Okay. And I always add a little knot just in case. But we'll also be knotting this when we attach it to the body. So, see, you got your cute little head. And then you're going to sew your green stem onto the top of his head, which, if you're looking at it, should be right there. So let's see. It doesn't really matter how you sew it on, just as long as you get it on. You might be like me, accidentally putting it to one side. Just make the correction and move on, or mess up because you're making the correction. See, I'm literally the pattern designer and I'm still having some problems. So don't get discouraged. It happens. I'm actually going to weave this over here and use the other yarn tail, because it's already there, to get this side attached. And then I knot this as tight as the yarn allows. And then you're gonna fasten off or weave in the ends. I grab scissors and just shove it in there because that seems to be the easiest thing for me. Yes, we could have sewn it on before we close this up, but I always get worried that my placement is not going to work because the stitches move when you fasten off. They might not move a whole lot, but I get worried. So now we have that done. We're going to set it to side and start on the body. So because I'm doing the milk chocolate one, I'm using Sienna for the body, or light brown. We're going to single crochet 8 in a magic ring. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then you tighten that and go into the first stitch, which is that one, and increase 1. So put our stitch marker in, and then we're going to change to red on the second half of this increase. So grab this red. So I'm just finishing off this stitch with red. And then you're going to increase 3 more, so for a total of 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So before you actually do that, we're gonna tie off this brown and red, or I am going to tie it off because that way it doesn't move. Or I'm gonna knot it anyway, I don't know. So then that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still need our 6th stitch. So, but we're gonna change to brown on the second half of this stitch. So pull that through, and we're gonna increase 4 more for a total of 8 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you haven't already closed off this your magic ring, like if you haven't knotted it, then do so. Okay. For the next round, you're going to single crochet and then, sorry, my yarn ball is so big it doesn't want to rotate. Single crochet and then increase, but on the second stitch of the increase, you're going to change to red again. Once you changed your colors, you're going to invisible decrease 2, 1, 2, and then single crochet, and then invisible decrease 2 more. There we go. And change to red on that last invisible decrease. And then you're gonna decrease, invisible decrease 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on. 5, 6. And then, so you could start stuffing right now, but I'm gonna opt not to. We're gonna decrease again, but you're gonna change to red at this decrease. And put your stitch mark back in. Decrease 3 more. One, 2, and 3. And then you changed colors on the last one. Now we're going to decrease 2. And then single crochet. And I leave a longish tail and fasten off. And I also cut the red one with a semi-long tail because we're gonna knot that later. And of course, as I said, I don't stuff until later because it's just how I am. Okay, make sure you don't hide that red yarn tail that you still have. So we're not sewing this closed. Do not sew it closed. We're going to bring back our red, our head, and make sure you line it up on the table so that way he sits like this. So line them up. If you have like a really long needle or something, I recommend jabbing it straight through and then sewing it that way. That's really, really useful. I unfortunately don't have one at the moment, so I am just gonna do it eyeball. Also, make sure that it's in the middle of this red part when you do that because he's supposed to be dipped in chocolate. And we want him dipped evenly, you know? So, I'm going to do it the hard way, but that's okay. If I can do it the hard way, you can do it the easy way. Okay, so that's done. Normally I would tie it off, but we're not done yet. Or I don't have a nice yarn tail. I will. So I just leave it in the middle where I know, hey, I haven't knotted that yet. And then go on. So we're gonna do the front fins first. For the front fins are in the body color. For me, that is red. If you're doing the dark chocolate one, that's also red. And if you're doing the white chocolate, then that's pink, because I have seen pink strawberries at the market and I really wanted to crochet one. So now we're gonna do the flippers. So of course I started a slip knot and then put your yarn tail put your hook into basically right next to the color change, but not quite. And then we're going to make a slip stitch and then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet because we're extra. And then we're going to slip stitch into the body. I am going to slip stitch into the same stitch. I'm making a video. There you go. And then of course cut a semi-long yarn tail and fasten off. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. So make a slip knot. And then insert your hook into basically the color change, but not more on the red side than the black side. Brown side. And slip knot, and then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. And then now we're going to see how it flows. So if I slip stitched it directly where it was, that would be fine, but I'm actually going to slip stitch it closer to the head because that way it will lay better. Or I'm going to, yeah. And then you're going to leave a semi-long tail for sewing. And there we go. Now, you're going to get a crap ton of yarn tails. I am just going to do them all at the end. But if you want to take a second and sew them, that's fine. I now am going to grab my body color or my chocolate color and make a slip knot. And this is the fun part because I didn't feel like doing this again like 3 more times. So right about even with the front fin, you're going to come to the back. I'd say about 3-4 stitches away and slip knot or slip stitch if your hook allows it. Okay. Then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then single slip stitch, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet. And then you're going to go into the stitch right next to the one that you started on the back and slip stitch. And do that 2 more times. Again, staying even with the fin that you made. Now, check the body. Are you directly in the middle? If the answer is yes, then we're going to do the tail. So you're going to chain 2, slip stitch into the second chain of the hook, and then now you're going to slip stitch into the next part of the body. Again, even, staying even. So now we're going to do that 2 more times for a total of 3, just like the other side. And you're going to look at it. So that doesn't really look like it's going to be enough for me, so I'm going to add another stitch. If it looks good on your end, then go ahead and chain 5, and then of course make your flipper. So slip stitch into the second chain from the hook, single crochet, half double crochet, and double crochet, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch in the body, again even with the rest of the ones that you've been doing, and call it a day. So I'm actually going to leave a little bit more of a yarn tail on him, but we are fastening off. And so now we're going to move on to the drizzle, just because that's another yarn tail that I would have to deal with. So you're going to put your needle into the body, roughly right there, and then pull out, then basically come to horizontal, and then again going all the way across. Pull it tight. And then you're going to go back into where you were so that they're touching. And then I come out where the red has changed, or the color change has occurred, or close to it. Again, pull tight. And then come back into this stitch over here. So again, they're touching because that's what we want. And pull it tight. And that is how you do it. So now we are going to knot it off. I am knotting off everything. Okay. And then shove that yarn tail in there because we already dealt with it. Now we're gonna get our yarn needle and weave in these ends. Now, if your flipper isn't doing what you want it to do, then this is your time to play around with it and, you know, sew it on the way you want it. Sometimes it needs help, sometimes it doesn't. So, like, this one doesn't really need any help. So, I am going to take that yarn tail and pull all the way into the body. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna pull it into the body. And that looks great. Now we're going to tie that off. And then you've already dealt with it, so shove it in there. And then now you're going to do the same for the other front flipper. Definitely looks like surgery. There we go. Again, shove that yarn tail in there because you're done with it. So now this is the part where I am going to kind of fix the direction a little bit. So we're gonna actually weave it in over here. See how that literally lined it up immediately? So I just skipped a stitch instead of weaving it in directly where it was coming out. And then you're going to weave it into the body or the body cavity. And then this side, he's doing pretty good, I think. But if you want, you can come over here and, whoops. Try it again. You can come over here and then pull him forward if you want. See how I pulled it? But again, you don't have to if you don't want to. It's nothing crazy. So if you're unsure of which yarn tail is which, just pull on them and see where they tug, and then you know exactly which ones you're playing with. Okay, and that's also why we throw in the ones that we've already fixed. So remember the yarn tail from the head. We're going to shove that in there now. Or not. It pays to put more than just a little bit in your needle, guys. There we go. And remember this red that we left alone? We're going to tie it. I pull it tight. And then shove one of those yarn tails in there, but not all of them. So you have one still. Because, again, I don't like loose ends. I don't like tying, you know, knots that might come undone. But we're going to fasten off now. So front, grab the chocolate color that you actually left a decent yarn tail on, and pull it closed with the front loops. Okay, we pulled it closed, but we left this red yarn tail. We did that so that we could knot it, because I don't like not knotting things. Knotted it 3 times, and you're going to shove that end directly through the turtle. Let's see. And we'll do that again with the red one, and boom, nothing left on this side. So I cut this a little shorter and then shove that back in. And there is your chocolate covered strawberry turtle. I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And please subscribe and like for more videos. Thank you so much. Bye.